Welcome to Maker Conversations. I'm your host, Tiff Marchand from Night Carver Design, and today I have Eric Karalis. Eric is an extremely talented artist. His paintings would blow your mind. So if you don't know who he is, go check out his art while you're listening to this because the man is very talented. We jumped in and we started talking about all these different projects that he's been working on behind the scenes. So when you get into the episode, you're going to kind of hear us just kind of jump into a conversation that we're already having. The reason I cut a lot of that out was because it was a lot of showing and telling. And since not everybody is going to be watching this on Spotify or on YouTube, I decided to go ahead and remove that just to make it a little bit less confusing. So I hope you guys really enjoy getting to know Eric. And don't forget to check out our sponsor. You can use Nightcarver10 at sabretooth.com to save 10%. And if you aren't already signed up for the newsletter, make sure you do because once a month they send out a coupon for 25% off. All right, and one more coupon code I want to shout out. You can use Nightcarver to save $50 at Workbench Con to grab your ticket. All right, guys, enjoy the show.
Yeah, I've been hiding this stuff. I've been just keep on posting the jackets, and all of a sudden I'm getting some traction.
Yeah, that's good.
Like I looked at yours. Like, what are you up to? Like 20,000 followers now?
No, 12.5.
Well, 12. It's still a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
What's funny is when you start reposting your older stuff, you get all those.
I know. I really want to. I was going to repost. I had this whole plan, like while I was making the Bride of Chucky, that I was going to repost the piranha plant throughout the process and have it kind of like showcase both of those things at the same time. I got so inundated with that carve. I couldn't do
How much does
anything.
that thing weigh?
I have to weigh it. I do want to weigh it. It's heavy. I had my husband bring it down and bring it back upstairs for me because she's really hefty. Every time I moved it, I'm like,
Is it more than 20, you think?
oh yeah, it's solid wood. She's got to be like, I don't know, 60 pounds or so.
Because when I watch you do your videos, I crack up. Like stuff flying all over the face. You're making faces, and you got the fan blowing. You know, it's like what is she gonna do next? Because I mean, just look at us, I'm cracking up. Like, it's so animated, it just makes me laugh.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I just try to have fun because honestly, this can be a very boring platform if people are just doing the same thing and I can't handle it. So I try to be silly and stupid and hopefully make somebody laugh and show them something cool at the same time.
Definitely. When you do your pieces, do you like have it all sketched out, or you're just like, what's your process? Because I'm just like, I like to hear other people's process.
Well, I'll have to tell you mine, but you're gonna have to share yours too.
No
Um,
problem.
so for like this current piece, I did a bunch of reference materials. I spent like some time searching and finding different images. I watched the movie like 3 times. And then I sketched up myself a drawing and it was kind of like a guide for it. It was way
Okay.
too detailed. If I did this on a laser, then it would be crazy how different this was. But since I was doing it by hand, there was no way I could fit all of my details. So I kind of just use it as a guide of placement of where it should be. I only did one-sided drawing. I didn't do like a side view, which probably would have been helpful.
Yeah.
But I just kind of went for it. It took a while to draw it out because I wanted to have a template. But then after that, I kind of just go and improvise as I go. I'm not really much of a lay it all out type of person.
I'm the complete opposite. Someone will say they want something done, whether it be a cutout from behind or a custom cutout. Some things I don't even show, or the jackets. I have it all laid out exactly the way it's going to look. I tell them I need you to send me a picture of your jacket, and then I take the picture in the computer and I warp it and change it so every panel is different. I had
Oh,
one
that's
guy
cool.
send me a jacket and I gave him a price. And when this bulletin board arrived, I mean, this guy was huge. At the back of his jacket must have been about 2 feet wide and
Oh,
three.
wow.
I was like, this guy must weigh about 300-400 pounds. I mean, so
Yes, you had to.
now like send me a picture and so I can get an idea how big these jackets are. And then this girl from California, she sends me this jacket, and literally it was 8 inches wide and 15 tall. I was like, how the hell am I going to fit all of
All
that
of that.
Yeah, so I laid it out for her and I showed it to her like a year ago, and her number just finally came up, came up to do her work. And when I got her jacket, I said, listen, I got to relay it out. I said, what I showed you it on, it won't work. So I took a picture of her jacket. I showed her the whole process, step by step, popped it on there. And when I'm working, it's like 1-to-1. So I'll,
Yeah.
whatever I create on the computer, I'll make a print. So my eyes are just, 1-to-1, so much easier. That's
Yeah. I mean, you have different materials, different shapes and sizes that you're working on constantly with when it comes to a jacket and stuff. So
every time.
I can see like it's very particular. So I heard you like her number came up and stuff. So how far booked out are you right now with your pieces?
Booked to the middle of February of 24.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I know how many I can get done during the week, and I could probably get all these done before then. But there's other things that pop up in between.
Hmm.
I want to be able to say no, so I leave a lot of gaps in between.
That's
And
smart.
what'll happen is, like this morning, I woke up and a guy that just buys these Eddie heads said, you know what, I want to get a jacket done. How much it'll cost? And it's starting to catch on with people that are buying different things are now asking for the other things. So when they do that, I can
Yeah.
throw them in between because I said I'm going to put you on the list for jackets.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't have a list for other stuff. Yeah, so they're all interweaved. And the main thing I do is I never take anybody's jacket in advance, and I never take a deposit from them. Because as
Okay.
soon as I take their jacket, did you start it yet? 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 So if you were on my list and you say you were one jacket in front of you, as soon as I start the jacket before yours, I'd call you up and I say, Tiff, send me your jacket. Here's my address. And the next question is, what type of deposit do I have to give you? No, nothing. Just send me your jacket in good faith. And when it's finished, I send you a digital invoice. And if you don't pay, I keep your jacket and I'll sell it to somebody else because someone else will buy it. As soon as I send the digital invoice, boom, we got the money and the chips out.
Okay.
So
So you're very upfront though, like this becomes my property if you don't pay.
if you don't pay,
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
I didn't take a deposit. I didn't hold on to your jacket, and I finished it in a week. So now pony up the money and let me get on to the next one because they're so labor intensive. It's insane.
How long does it normally take you to do like a medium size average jacket?
Um, if I sat down solid, probably 2 days, 2.5 days. I mean,
It's
it
a
takes.
lot of work.
Oh, it is. And when I'm looking at things now, I have to figure out how do I delete things out of the background, blur things, cut things out. Some people hand me things and I go, no, there's no way I'm going to paint that. It's impossible. But I did have one guy give me the most outrageous request. And when I looked at it, I said, it's going to be too expensive. So he said, throw a number at me. when I tell you a number for a back of a jacket, you're going to lose your mind because I still can't believe this guy said yes. I told him $1,600 and I'll paint the back of your jacket, that picture. He goes, when do I have to send the jacket to you? I said, January of next year. He goes, good, I got plenty of time to save. Put me on the list.
Hell yeah.
Could you imagine? I mean, I would never pay anybody. I wouldn't pay me $1,600 to paint the jacket.
I always say I'm not my client. Like I'm not the target audience for my artwork. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't afford my stuff. So
Exactly.
so that's how I mean that's how it is sometimes, right? Like it's a lot of work. And how long have you been doing the airbrushing on the jackets for? Like I know you started your page in 2020, but you came out with like this gorgeous already done up jacket. So I assume you've been doing it for a while.
Um, I started it in 2020 on here, really putting a lot of time into it. But it was 2019 in the summer. I did the first one after
Wow.
a 30 plus year sabbatical. I hadn't done one in over 30 years. And a
Okay.
buddy of mine who I did tons of them for in high school said, Eric, could you do this for me? One for my wife if she wants to wear it to a concert. All right, no problem. And then, Eric, I got another one. Can you do that for me? All right, Mark, I'll do it. Eric, you got and he just keeps on throwing shit at me. I mean, I actually have he handed me this, and it's already got embroidery on it, but he wants me to put this gradated ombre sunset behind it with rays going on it, and it's been sitting here for quite some time. So that's
That's
another
so
jacket.
that's so awesome though. Like such unique requests. Like can't get boring. Like
Oh no, his requests are always great. He got Jaws done.
I've
He got
seen the Jaws ones. Those are
um
awesome.
he wears that to the beach. That's his beach jacket.
That's yeah, that's
The
great.
Jaws one, Misfits. He wanted an Ozzy Osbourne, and I told him I'm not painting the werewolf one, Bark at the Moon. I said I'm not going to do that. But I can only put so much time into this, and I can only put so much time into the carved stuff, so much time back there, and it's like I'm not an octopus. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But
I'm all over the place.
it's a real challenge because it seems like you're really passionate with trying to figure out all this new stuff on the CNC. But yeah, the jacket business is what you've been doing. It's what's keeping the money on the table. Is this all full time now?
This has been since COVID hit. Um, the spring of 2020, this has been full time.
Just full time. Yeah, that's so cool.
But prior to that, I was doing great with what I was doing prior to this. I was doing interior painting. I come and paint inside your house, and I was making displays for restaurants, and that was working well. But as soon as COVID came, killed them both,
Yeah.
and they really haven't recovered. So I had to pivot, and this is what I pivoted to. And I'll tell you, this is a lot more fun.
Well, it's you're building a community too around it. Like as cool as it is doing installations and repainting and redoing facilities and stuff, restaurants, you're building a whole group of people around the stuff that you're painting. And the stuff that you're painting, it seems very close to your heart. Like it looks like
Oh, I
stuff
like
that
this stuff.
you love. Yeah. So you can't beat that. There's very few of us who have gone for something like that. Like myself, I see it in oh my God, I can't now I'm gonna blank on names, but like her for hand painted. You
Oh
see
my
it,
God, that guy's
yeah.
stuff is great.
Yeah,
Look at it
exactly.
go. Wow, he just whips it out. I mean, and but he's focused. That's all he does. And
Mm-hmm.
um, I
Bird
got
three four
a
five
lot of
three.
orders with these jackets and this other stuff that's going on. But I'm going to try to turn this ship. There's something that I started doing way back when, and then I got married and I got sidetracked and pulled away from it because I had to get a real job. I used to be a professional illustrator.
Okay. I want to
And
say I want to dive into your history.
oh, I haven't posted up the work, but I'm going to start doing that. I work for advertising agencies, a production manager for advertising agency, um, airbrush illustration, digital illustrations, computer illustrations, catalogs, dissections of products. Like I had to do bags one time, and they wanted to be able to see through the bag and see all the zippers and the compartments and all that.
Okay.
So at that time, I was airbrushing and rendering it, but I said, you know what? Let me create it in Photoshop. So I'm actually doing digital illustrations on the Wacom tablet in Photoshop, airbrushing them, painting them. But I want to go back to not being an illustrator. I want to do my own stuff, my own paintings, where that's where you get to really stand out. You're not copying other people's stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And it is tough when you make stuff that you love and people keep requesting things that they love from their nostalgic times, is you are making like somebody else's work unless you completely redraw it yourself into your own style. Otherwise, yeah, you are kind of repeating it. And I get that too. I get that like your like desire to do something different. That's why it was kind of nice power carving this,
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna make it look exactly like her. There's just no way like I'm gonna get it perfect. But I get to have my look. So like my whole goal was to give her like kind of like a totem pole-esque look. So I wanted her to have like the little cute blocky hands and like a very generic looking knife. I didn't go too detailed in it, which was hard for me, by the way. I really wanted to like define all the lines and stuff. And I'm like, no,
But it gets
stop.
you
You're
can
gonna
OCD.
overwork it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God, overwork it. Yes.
I had to
Yeah.
be very like pull back, which is hard for me.
Um, yeah, I have a tendency to go in there and I'm painting little tiny little details because when I'm looking at it, I'm real close, and I was like, all right, I got to make it look realistic from here. But if you're in my studio, when you're looking at the stuff that I'm working on, and you step back a couple feet, you're like, that looks good like that. But the closer you get, I start to.
Mm-hmm.
And the last few jobs, they've given me stuff to do, and I get to a certain point where I look at it and I go, yeah, it's good enough. And then I take the reference material and I literally just throw it away. And then I look at it and go, okay, if I was the artist, what would I have done differently?
Yeah.
And I go and I do my thing on it. And I've been getting more compliments, questions, and work from those than straight copies.
Right, because you're deviating from it and you're adding something. I
So
noticed too, like the more you have been doing this, your light, the use of light in it has just been amazing. You're getting some striking contrast that's really drawing the eye. Like I just love like the lightning bolts, how bright you can get those. Everything just illuminates off of that. Like really cool airbrushing techniques.
you can do that on MDF, and you can do that on wood, and you can do that on carved pieces. It's once you see it done, it's really an easy process to do lightning. Even easier. I like doing these, but they're getting on my nerves. It's just I only get requests for Iron Maiden, so that's why I've really been plugging the question.
What do you want painted? Yeah. I was gonna ask you about that, like how it got all Iron Maiden. It just one thing took off and it just kind of fell into that market, I assume, or are you a big fan?
I'm a big fan, but in high school, I did one, I did two, and I should have got my photo album. I have a photo album from high school, 84, 5, 6, and 7. And when you look through it, it's just Iron Maiden, Iron Maiden. I did like maybe 100 or 200 jackets. And
Wow.
it was insane. But all this started from this piece.
Yep.
Some guy reposted it and he said I was giving it away. And I was like, I'm not giving this away, but I'm like, I'm not saying nothing. And I'm sitting on the couch and I hear bing, 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 bing. I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, I'll look later. Bing, bing, 550 followers in one day.
Wow.
So then I was like, okay, I'm on to something here. Let me just go with the Iron Maiden. And this is like all the people send me. But what do you want painted? That's the hook.
I think it's really funny that's kind of full circle, right? You started off with the Iron Maiden and then that's what ends up popping off for you. And then you kind of gotten like stuck in that little area, and not like stuck, but you just
No, I'm stuck.
yeah.
I'm literally stuck.
You've got orders till February, probably mostly Iron Maiden orders, I'm assuming.
Um, just under half of them are Iron Maiden. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of I got a lot of cool stuff coming up that I can't wait to show people. Like that one is a little different, so that should be fun. But I have a Trivium album coming up. I don't know if you heard that band.
Mm-mm. I don't even know Iron Maiden songs. I
Okay.
literally love your art just because of how you do it. Love your style, love the imagery. I don't know Iron Maiden at all. So it's really funny, like that I am so attracted to what you do, but it's just the contrast, the imagery. Like
Well,
who
it's the
doesn't love
original artist that
skeletons? You know what
the
I mean?
original artist that did it is
Yeah.
he's awesome. And I started copying his work in 1984. I can't tell you how many of his pieces I've copied. Eventually, I'm going to get to meet him face to face.
Mm.
I want to actually do a portrait of him, like one of these heads, but him.
Yeah.
And you know, I did so much of your artwork. I want to like, here's a present for inspiring so much over the years. I got Megadeth, John Lennon, band called Machine Head,
Okay.
Anthrax. One I've been dying to do, Batman and Spawn. So it's going to be a comic book jacket.
Very fun.
I've got a lot where they said I want my name on the list. I don't know what I want yet. Just when the time comes, all right, I got you on the list.
That's awesome though.
Man of War, and the last one that just got on here is from New Jersey. He wants Black Sabbath's very first album. So it's like a creepy looking Monet painting.
Okay. I'll have to check that out.
It's really creepy looking. It's like there's a witch standing in an old garden with a creepy old house behind her. So, but I'm ready to go do illustrations and other stuff. I
Yeah.
need inspiration.
Well, it's the thing, yeah. If you're doing, especially if it's like a lot of the same things, like somebody just loves just one album cover and they just always want that one. You're like,
Oh
please let
yeah.
me mix this up. I want to, like, I need something else to breathe. I get that. And that's cool that you have the CNC now to kind of start working on that. Like, you
Oh yeah.
might be able to paint the same middle part, but the outside having that super cool frame and everything like locked in 3-dimensional, it's gonna look so neat. There's an artist I feel like I need to send you. Very different imagery, but the way that he builds out his pieces and makes them so 3-dimensional and then brings them to life with paint. I can't think of his name right now, but I will get it to you.
Okay.
It's just outstanding. Like, you can just see these, and they become installations, right? Because they start taking over the room because they're getting so massive and
There's
chunky.
some crazy talented people on here, and first thing in the morning, I'm on here, and I'm just all I do in the morning. Okay, let me just see what other people are creating, get me going, and then I'm like, all right, now let me get back to Iron Maiden, and then I get back to that. The guy from Cornbread, I don't know his name. I love his work. I look at it and go, wow, it just, and I'm going, you know what? I'm gonna master this CNC machine, and then I'm gonna paint on whatever carves out of the CNC machine.
I believe his name is Han.
On.
Yeah, from Cornbread. Yeah, Han and Tony. So there's two guys that do it. You never see Tony. I think Tony must be like the guy in the background doing all the engineering on the CNC. Because Han's always the one we see painting, and he's the one
Painting.
that we see sealing them and stuff. So I assume Tony must be doing like a lot of the designing and a lot of the actual milling on the CNC. But yeah, it's a two-person team, and I really do have to have them on because their work, it's just gorgeous. It's
You
very
see how,
different. The color tones are so different too, and the way
you
he
see how much they
applies.
grown? When I started following him, he had 2,500 people.
Yeah.
He's exploded,
Mm-hmm.
and
For good reason.
and and he's no longer showing him doing the work. He's just showing the finished pieces because
Mm-hmm.
there's no need to show it being done because he's done it already. And it's just every I look at it and I go, wow, even this simple stuff is really impressive.
Yeah, he uses a lot of masking. So that right there is so tedious. I can't believe that he does that. But when he does his painting, he'll lay masking over it, and then he'll take an X-Acto knife and he'll cut out each little piece he's gonna paint, and then he goes in there and he like
It's
dabs it
really,
on.
it's you should try it. It's really
Yeah.
easy. Like I'm looking
Yeah.
at Chucky behind you.
Mm-hmm.
What you after you have it all cut out, and when
Yeah.
you do your thing where you paint everything black and you airbrush it.
Yep.
Yeah, pay attention to what you do. I watch. What you do is you lay your piece flat and you get this. It's called sticky Mickey tape, and it's
Mm-hmm.
used for doing transfers of vinyl and stuff like that. And you just lay it right over that whole piece, and you can literally just cut using that
Yep.
because you already have all the highs and the lows. You're just going to run it along the edge and follow it, and then just pull it out. And then you're going to go in there and paint or spray or use your airbrush on there or little paintbrush strokes. And then you can just slap another piece of sticky Mickey over there and it'll go right through and cut. And that's what he's doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
It's a cool technique.
It is. I just don't have the patience for that. I'm like, let's just get it real messy. Then I'll go in with a marker later. But it's not as clean. It's not as clean. His stuff, though, it's just like so meticulous. And that's why we're talking about it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it
and I see
stands out.
when I watch him painting, I'm going like that. Yeah, you could do it so much faster if you would do it with an airbrush. If you
It's like
got,
a dab, 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 a dab, a dab.
I would love to see him get a hold of an airbrush. Forget about it. Like he's at a really high standard right now. It would take him. It would catapult him.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, Eric, where are you located? Are you in
Um,
Jersey?
no, I'm in Long Island. I'm in
You're in
Suffolk.
Long Island. Okay. All right. I know you have like the accent. So I was trying to pin it. I was like, I think it's either Jersey or Long Island with the.
I have an accent. I didn't realize that.
Oh, you do. We all do over here. Everyone calls us out on our random accents. I've got the Boston sound, even though I'm in Western Mass. So it all works.
I don't hear it that much. I really don't.
That's
I
good.
probably got a really heavy accent.
It's just like the sound. I talk to a lot of Long Islanders though. So I was just curious because the music scene, I was wondering if it was heavy for you growing up. It must have been. Because I know
Um,
all my emo bands are from Long Island, so it had to be.
when I grew up, every retro cool band that all the kids like now, like like when I was growing up, you're like, oh wow, like you know, I missed I missed Led Zeppelin, I missed Jimi Hendrix, I missed people back then,
Yep.
and we thought that was cool back then. But like the age group that I grew in the middle of the '80s, we got the tail end of the great '70s, we got the '80s, and then we got the '90s. And everybody now, all they're listening to and trying to recreate and get that sound and the stuff that they want, the retro shirts and jackets and stuff. '70s, '80s, '90s. I grew up right dead smack in the middle of
Yeah.
that. It was incredible. It was the best time. It really was.
But yeah, you can see like it influences you, right? For me, same thing. Like I was born in '82, right? So I grew up in the best of like the '80s and the '90s, those amazing movies, the ridiculous craziness that was happening. And now that's all I want to make is things that are throwing back to like to the '90s, the 2000s,
Oh yeah,
dip it into those '80s. So I'm in just like a 10
classic,
year after you
classic
group.
horror stuff.
But
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the classic horror stuff, and there's so many horror pieces. Like when I see you do a horror piece, I'm just like, yeah, I want to do that. And I'm just like, oh, I gotta finish this. Oh, I gotta pay this bill.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get the inspiration when you see somebody else doing, you want to really like dive into that area. For me, I've been watching so many people like make chainsaw art that I'm like, I just want to do something three-dimensional because like I see what you're doing and you're using a flat surface. And I'm just like, man, it'd be so nice though, also to just paint a freaking flat surface and not have to worry about all these divots and craters that I'm constantly working around because
Yep.
I see the details you guys can get. And I'm like, I wish I could do that on
Yeah,
this
but
piece.
when you're sitting there doing what you're doing, I look at that and I go, you know what? I would love to be painting on that surface with all those curves because if if you know where you're going to display that and you know where the light
Yeah.
source is going to be, oh my God! You say you know the light source is coming up from underneath. When you're going in there and airbrushing, you can accentuate that a little bit and go darker in those crevices. So when that
Yes.
light is there, it's going to look like you carved it even deeper.
So like when I was carving this piece, if I didn't have, I had 1 month to go from concept to finished piece on this big giant carving. And I'm just like, if I only had like 2 months to make this, how cool could I have made it? Right. And then same thing for the paint job. I did that paint job in 2 days, in between taking care of my kids. So I'm just like, imagine if I like, cause I wanted to use my airbrushes on them, but I haven't done the detailed airbrushing yet. So I'm like, this is not the time to play when I've got 2 days. I don't need to be fucking
Yeah,
around
you don't
with high
experiment like that
stress.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
So I'm like,
there's so
man,
oh, there's just so many there's so many things you could like. I do woodwork, and I've been staining and lacquering wood and burning the wood and airbrushing the burnt wood. And you could, if you use the paint and the stain correctly, you could see all those burned tones through there.
mm-hmm.
But then I started messing around with metallic paints. And
Mm.
when the stain is still wet, spray it's just like a glitter and it falls into the stain. And then when you clear over it, people are like, how'd you get glitter in your stain? So you can really doll the stuff up,
Yeah.
making things that people haven't seen before. Because copying shit all the time is really, we're artists. We want to like, yeah, what can I do now?
Yeah, no, exactly. No, we'll have to come up with a project. What we gotta do is get one of your clients who just love you and then just pitch them. Let's go three-dimensional on this one.
Yeah,
And let's
definitely.
tag team something like that. Cause that would be so fun. You
I have an idea, and I think this would be pretty cool. A buddy of mine does these really crazy creatures post mortem. He does. He'll take something and just make it demented, like
okay?
demented. So I'm trading him some artwork for one of his pieces, and when I get his piece sent in, I'm going to illustrate it.
Okay. That's gonna
So
be cool.
just a repeat. He already created. He got inspiration from one guy, and he made that. And then when I liked the piece so much because I looked at it, and said, you know what? If you photographed it just right and paint it, you can make an illustration out of that. It would look pretty cool. So, um, yeah, I do want to do power carving too. So I want to find out where you're going to be. I know you're
Well, I'm going to be in New York, in
when
October. October.
it's
And
October.
yeah, in the Catskills. Are you going to be around on Columbus Day weekend? It's like the first weekend.
That's really far, far away from me.
That's okay. It's like 4.5 hours. You got this.
I don't leave my house. I don't drive. I don't leave. I'm a hermit. 4.5 hours.
I don't know what part of Long Island you are on.
Dead smack in the middle.
Oh, are
Literally,
you? Okay.
dead
Okay.
smack right in the middle.
I say if you're conveniently located near a ferry, and you can just hop over and drive up.
Yeah. Oh, I could do that. I could just drive out to Port Jeff, take the ferry across.
Yeah. I mean, it adds money to your trip, but it's a really cool experience if you like to camp. It's a 3-day camp where you just learn how to do everything. So they'll have Onefinity CNC will be there. So if you had questions on what bits to use and stuff, they could help guide you right there. The people that built the machine are going to be there. And then I'll be there for Sabretooth teaching people how to power carve. So they're going to be all
Really?
kinds of
I
really
didn't know it
cool
was three
things.
days. Okay, so like I guess
Mhm.
there's a lot of
There's epoxy pouring. There's all kinds of things that you could do. Welding, anything, basically any little art that you want to dabble in, blacksmithing, all that's going to be there in one weekend.
yeah, but I don't want to camp out though. I'll just go to the stay in a
You
hotel.
could, yes, I'm anti-camp too. I stay in a hotel.
You're not getting any good sleep. You're in a lumpy sleeping bag getting eaten up by bugs.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm very much anti-camp too. Oh, people are too, is they're renting RVs that are getting delivered, and then they also are getting picked up from there so that you just have your RV too. It's cool. It's a really cool experience.
Um, I saw that you just posted that skull that you did, that really, really big skull. Yeah, I really like that. I was like, what bit did you use? Was it like a big 120 or it's colossal. And
I
do you
did
carve the
okay.
whole thing with it?
I did a 90. It was a big 90 bit,
And you do
I
the whole
believe.
entire everything with that one bit or multiple bits?
I did two different yeah, I think I might have done it all in one bit, and then I took a jigsaw and I cut it out.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I didn't go all the way deep with the 90-degree bit. I just did the edges of where it was gonna get cut out, and then I just busted out my jigsaw because I'm all for a hand
I
tool
saw
when I can grab one.
you broke a thing too.
A bit, yes. I think I
Yeah,
ended up finishing cutting it on the scroll saw, to be honest.
and it's like, did you just throw that? Because it just looked like you broke it. I was like, I would have probably lost my mind. Like,
Nah, no, I've broken so many bits and blades. You just work through it. But yeah, no, that is a logo. That's somebody's logo, Bad Love Leather. And he's gotten a few pieces from me, and he actually wants to get a brain, which I really want to do.
cool.
So I'm waiting on him to get back that. But yeah, so I'm taking commissions here and there if they're worth it right now. So I'm trying to keep it at like $250 to $300 a minimum, and then work up from there. Because when I was doing commissions before, people try to do those like $40 jobs, the $80 jobs. And you know what happens is they want the world, and they're the pickiest customers. And it is like what you said. Is it done yet? Is it done yet? Are you working on that yet?
Yeah, the whole way to solve that is not take a deposit.
Yeah.
If you don't have their money, like, well, I don't have your money, and you're making me not want your money. So,
Yeah.
but
It's tough.
the commission stuff is, I find it's easier just to say my stuff starts at this price,
Yes.
and I reserve the right after I see what you're requesting to either adjust it up or down if I feel it's appropriate.
Yep.
And most of the time, I haven't had anybody say, "Oh my God, that's way too much money." They'll just say, "Let me think about it." I know that means no. So
That's the thing. Everybody has, was it caviar tastes, but they have, we'll say McDonald's money. But you know what I mean? Like they want the best for nothing.
I knock on wood. I look at my demographics. 80% of my followers, maybe more, are men. And
Yeah.
my demographic is 35 to 55 is where everybody falls. The employed males who make money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I throw a price at them, a lot of them are my age. I'm
Yep.
57, and I always wanted one. I don't care what it costs. Just give it to me. Just make it look
Well,
cool.
exactly. You're fulfilling those dreams, right? Like
Yes.
we were
Yeah.
saying back to the nostalgia part. That's
Yeah.
the nice part about it is like that was their fucking band when they were 18
Yeah.
and they were listening to music religiously in the car, going to shows, living life. The best part of their memories rely like to that band. So when they can go to you and they can get that fulfilled, that's just overjoyment. Like you're so
Yeah.
fulfilled by that. And it just is
And
the world.
the reverse of that is when if I meet them or they come by to pick it up, I want to see the reaction.
Mhm.
I hate mailing my stuff, and I send a lot of stuff to California. I hate it because I don't get to see them open it up. But when they come over to my house, they walk through the garage and I'm just open the door. It's just right in there, and I already have a camera set up. And a lot of the time it's like, all right, beep beep beep. It's like, holy, that looks awesome.
Yeah. You got to just post your reveal videos. I bet you it's just a lot of like, damn,
Uh,
damn, fuck.
when they do the bloopers for movies,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
when I go
Big fan of
outside
bloopers.
in the backyard to film this stuff, like, oh, I just made this and stuff like that. I got a neighbor, fucking motherfucker lives right over there. Every time I go outside, his damn dog, every time. And he comes out there and he smokes his freaking pipe and you can smell it. And I know he's out there. And I go, all right, it shouldn't be long before his wife comes out there. And she's like, are you going to throw the garbage out? It's and I lose my mind. So like, all right, I'll go to the other side of the yard, and then you got the kids over there, and then I got a guy and his friends. They rent a house over here, and they have motorcycles. So it's like Harley Davidson's going up and down in the middle of the night. It's like a drag strip over here. It's a
Jeez.
quiet neighborhood, but it's so noisy from just a couple
Well,
neighbors.
Long Island is not a very big area. So if you live near a main road, you're getting all that traffic, everybody going through
Yeah,
it.
that's it. I'm right in the middle of like four major roads,
Yeah.
highways. And you can't hear anything. But I hear that neighbor over there freaking out all the time, and the guy on the motorcycles. Don't get me started with
Well,
that.
being a content creator and having neighbors is challenging. There are those things that you face. This time I didn't try to do a ton of talking for the contest I promoted. The last time I was trying to do a ton of talking to the camera, someone would start up a weed whacker or mower, or
Yeah,
someone would fling by, beep the horn, like how you say, like dogs barking. You're just like, oh my God. Like I'm just trying to work here.
um, I was watching you. Like, I'm like, is she holding the camera or someone else holding the camera? You got it on a tripod. Like, what are you doing when you do it? Because you have like it's always in different angles, which that's what really makes everything interesting.
Tripod. Yes. I have it's actually right here. It's a tripod stand. It's got two different holders so it can
Does it?
hold
You have
a
the software that follows you on there.
I do have that tripod. I never use it. I actually just grabbed the manual so I can learn it because I
Okay.
bought a really cool one that does like pan and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
like if I moved over here,
Yeah, I don't use that. No, I have a tripod that I literally carve a little. Oh, stop. Grab it, move it, angle, carve a little bit more. Stop.
yeah, and the whole time you're doing your work, you're thinking, all right, I got to videotape a little bit of stuff. I'm like, should I videotape it and fast forward, or should I just?
Yes, do I do a time lapse? And then this one, I was videotaping it three different ways, essentially. I did, well, four. I was doing all vertical and I was doing time lapse, slow motion, regular
Okay.
of each step. So I'd have stuff to choose from. And then I'd flip the camera sideways and then I would do maybe the same thing again, like the time lapse, the
So it
slow
just
mo.
throws people's
And
perspective off.
so well, because I'm trying to do a YouTube video afterwards. So I
Okay.
wanted to have the footage in both ways. So
Oh,
that way I can pick and choose of what I want to showcase.
how do you have the time to do the YouTube? A buddy of mine was telling me, and I was like, I
I
fucking
don't. That's why I don't have a ton on there.
yeah.
Because I'm not just making art. Like this is just part of my life. I'm a social media director for two companies. So I'm making content for two other companies all week, plus my company, plus I'm doing the podcast
And
and
your
I'm
kids and
teaching.
husband.
Yeah. And I have a husband, and I have kids, and I also travel for work and go carving, teach people to carve now. So It's a lot of different things all at once.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a one-man show. I get to do this all day long if I want to, and it's, oh, squirrel.
Oh yeah, yeah, I can't do
Squirrel.
that. Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, you have that freedom that you don't have to stop to help other people. Like I work very odd hours. I start around 7:30
So
ish. And I'm like with the kids, I'll
I
sneak
cover.
down, do a little work. Then I bring the kids to school like during the regular year. This summer, they've been home with me all day, every day, and then I'll do this, that. So like I'm constantly stopping. I'm making snacks all day or approving them to have more snacks
And when
and
you
all
make it,
kinds of
and when you're
shit.
making the snacks, you're like this. All right, the next thing I have to do in there, I got to get the
Yeah,
cameras.
exactly. Yeah. And
Well,
they know I'm distant and I hate that. Like this summer, they've gotten really accustomed to lounging around, watching TV and playing video games. It's gonna be
uh,
so hard for them on Thursday when I go back to school. It's gonna be like, oh, what is this?
yeah, but you're gonna be like, yeah, I get a little bit of a break. You're gonna be at
I
school.
need that time. Well, like, cause like that's the big reason why I didn't talk to the camera a lot for these videos. My kids were home all day. All you would have heard is mom, like through
Yeah, but
every
you know what?
video.
Um, I in the beginning, I was putting an astronomical amount of time into making these videos. That's when they were like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And then, they chopped it down, they made it a minute. So as of lately, I chopped it down to 30 seconds. And I got a friend of mine over at the beer distributor, and he's like, Eric, listen, goes, just look at the insights. Look at how long people are looking at it. So I'm looking at it, I'm going through all of them. Went through every single one. The average attention span of a human being is between 6 to 7 seconds for anything on Instagram.
Yeah.
6 to 7 seconds.
I know.
I was
I'm
like, I got to jam 30 hours of work into 6 to 7. So I said, all right, let's give it a try. Oh my God, it works. If
yeah.
you put a video that's 6 to 7 seconds, as long as the first image that they see is not a black screen, it's like something dynamic. And if it just moves a little bit like that, and then with the call to action, the little short ones are working.
That's cool. I get like to the point I don't want to do that. I have done it like a little bit, but like you said, like this Bride of Chucky piece has been almost 50 hours worth of work and not even like adding editing work to that because that's even more of all the editing I've been doing
50 for just the piece alone.
in editing, like design,
Wait.
carving, painting, and editing videos to go with it.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah,
Wow.
like this has been my whole month off and on. Like
Okay.
I'm doing a compilation video now. I'm going to put all of that 50 hours of work, we'll say, into a 1.5 minute or less video of it all getting done. And it's going to be ridiculous. And I hope that works. But again, people are only going to watch a few seconds if they're intrigued. That's why you see me stop and move my camera so much. Cause I'm like, stay with me, stay with me, stay with me.
There's this woman. I see her work all the time. It's she she always pops up on my feed constantly, and you were just on there. She is, I believe, from England, and she works with her two little children. And one of the
I don't
pieces
know.
that she did was, she does a lot of butterflies, but the amount of skills is she will make a skull, and she'll make a mold to make repeated small skulls. She cuts MDF and she layers it, then she glues them to it. She paints these things, she foils these things, she puts metallic paint, she
I feel
puts
like I know who you're talking about
glow in the
now.
dark paint. It's like GPD, something like that. She's got blonde hair, and she's got, I think, 324,000 followers.
Jesus.
I
Well, that's the
mean,
thing. I can't wait until one day I'm not making content for everybody else and not just me because it is killing me because I can only do so much. Like you said, your one man show, your hands can
one
only
other
be
thing.
in one places, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And if
because
it's not working, you're not making money, right?
it makes you like, what could you get lost in for countless hours and not even blink an eye, and you would be happy?
Carving and
Okay.
painting kind of equally.
Yeah.
I love them both.
I don't have a clock in here. So if I can get in here, put the tunes on, and just paint, I can get a lot of work done. And then you're like, oh my God, I just painted for 6 hours straight. Look what I finished. all right, I'll go on to something else. But
Yeah.
these other things like what you're doing, this isn't easy. This is tough stuff.
Yeah, no, I feel like my brain's breaking every day. Like I wake up with a headache. Like it's too much. It's too like
You
I'll
take a
probably
day off? You ever take a day off?
I have taken like afternoons off, but yeah, I have to work every day because of Sabretooth. I post there every day, and Workbench Con I post like on the weekends as well too. So like I sadly have to work every day. It might not just be like a little bit, and then I try to like take myself away from it. Yeah. Or the nice thing about carving and painting is I can't be on my phone while I'm doing it, right? So
Hmm.
why do you think I love those two things so much? I
Yeah,
am in it.
yeah, you're
I'm
getting to do
That's
what you
all
want
I'm
to do.
worried about. Yeah.
Yeah,
If I'm designing, and I love being on the computer designing, and I love editing, but those things I'm on my phone when I'm editing. So what am I doing? But I'm going into Instagram while I'm editing and I'm looking at stuff like an idiot, or I'm texting people,
yeah.
or like if I'm editing on my computer, I'm on my computer and my phone's next to me. So what am I picking up? But if I'm carving, I have to have that phone with the camera going, recording what I'm doing. So
You have it constantly running or like turn it on and off for different things?
on and off. I get actually very angry at myself, and I do it a lot. If I let it run more than a minute, I get angry at myself. Unless I'm doing a time lapse, then that's fine. You know what I mean? But like I'm just chewing up memory on my phone at that point if I'm just letting it roll,
Yeah.
because
You know,
it's
I had
challenging.
so much shit on my phone. I mean, tons of shit and not backing it up and putting it onto the cloud. And I said, from now on, what I'm going to do is as I videotape, like that thing that I showed you, I went in there and I
Mm-hmm.
tried some new stuff. I did one just regular speed, and then I did one as fast forward. So at the end of the day, when I'm sitting on the couch, that's even though I'm not done, I edit those things and
Yeah.
get them tight and put them all together. And then I delete all the other stuff and I only leave like one. So then the next day when I do more stuff, I keep on building on it. So when I'm finished with that piece, then I have everything to post. So I have a 1 week lag. So what you see was done last week, and
Okay.
I'm working on another thing at the same time, so I can
Yep.
have that constant flow of content, and constantly editing. Because I used to sit there for hours. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Meanwhile, I go in there. All right, 5 times the speed, and just look for when your hand's not there. Chop all those gaps out. How much space is it? Okay, double it up,
Yeah.
and then you have really really fast, and then slow, and then something really really close, and then something far away, and then you twist the angle, and those do the best. They
Hmm.
do the best.
You've got a formula now, it works for you and your
Yeah,
audience.
yeah, just you get keep on looking to see what kind of works, because every day, you get up there and you're like, oh my God, this is gonna go great. Everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah.
Crickets,
Yep.
nothing, you
I
know?
get so excited sometimes to post something, and then like you get deflated because like, oh,
Yeah,
like that is outstanding. And if people actually saw it,
keep on changing the other things. And then all of a sudden you're gonna get this roller coaster ride where you're gonna be like, holy crap, look at this. I'm getting interaction, I'm getting comments, I'm getting DMs, I'm getting followers, I'm getting likes. And I saw in a few of mine, they were shared like 150 times. And I'm like,
damn.
150 times is to me, I was like, that's phenomenal. I got 100 people, 150 people resharing it. So
Yeah.
it's who cares how many followers you have?
Mm-hmm. Make cool shit. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Eric's a really cool guy, and like I said in the beginning, he is extremely talented. If you want to support the show, there's 2 ways that you could do that. You could head on over to nightcarverdesigns.com and grab yourself a cool piece of art, or you can go ahead to my bio, click on the link for Carhartt, and get yourself something there. I would appreciate the support, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you again for listening. It's truly appreciated, and I'm glad you are all enjoying the show. And you thought I was done talking, but I'm not. But I just remembered there's a brand new challenge that's happening at Sabretooth. We have teamed up with Maker Challenge Central, and we are doing a very cool contest that's starting on December 1st. So, if you want a chance at winning a ton of new burrs and you've been really wanting to get into power carving, I suggest you sign up for the Sabertooth newsletter ASAP, because on Tuesday, a 25% off coupon is going to be going out where you could save some good money. It's only a 24-hour coupon, so you have to act fast, but I just felt, I would regret not letting you guys know and let you know, grab a couple burrs so you can compete if you don't have any already. I can't wait to lead that competition. I'm hosting it. I've got a great build team that is going to be working with me. We have Leah from Parker Place. We've got Becca from Southern Wood. We've got Kendra from Kendra's Got Wood. And we're all going to be making some fun, I can't give away the theme yet, but some fun pieces. So if you are ready to compete, ready to grow your community, this is a great opportunity.